Hey, Guy Powell here, and welcome to the next episode of the Backstory on Marketing and AI. And if you haven't already done so, please visit prorelevant.com and sign up for all of these episodes and podcasts. I am the author of the upcoming book, The AI Marketing Machine, and you can find out more information on this at marketingmachine.prorelevant.com. Today I'm interviewing Casey Cheshire. He is with Ringmaster Conversational Marketing. And so let me tell you a little bit more about Casey. He's a seasoned marketer with over 2 decades of experience and the author of Marketing Automation Unleashed. As the founder and CEO of Ringmaster Conversational Marketing, which is a B2B podcasting agency, he helps businesses build authentic connections. He also hosts his podcast, The Hardcore Marketing Show. Sounds like a pretty good deal, and definitely something, if you get a chance, sign up and listen to some of his episodes. So, Casey, tell us a little bit about what your backstory is on AI and marketing.
Well, you see, my parents are actually AI. So it was about 40-something years ago. ChatGPT, Grok, opposites attract, I tell you. And, and after, marriage and puppy, here I came.
Yeah. So is that how that works?
That's how that
I'll
works.
have to try that. Yeah. So what kind of prompt did you put in there for that?
No, I'm a longtime marketer, and I love the tech, but I love the people side too. So all of the paths I've woven in and out have always involved some kind of technology, but I've always held on to the humanity side. I remember back in the day when they were trying to take me deeper and deeper into computer science, and they wanted, at some point, I'm programming gates to open and close on a processor. And I'm like, where are the humans at? Where are they at? And they weren't there. They certainly weren't there in the processor. So I found other places, and marketing was really a home for me. I think a lot of people listening to this show can relate to that. But marketing is that beautiful intersection for me of creativity and analytics.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I'm on the analytics side, and but certainly, it's really the creative guys that come up with these incredible ideas that earn the big bucks. When I think about Aflac as a great example, I mean, how did they ever come up with that commercial that really just drove a hockey stick for the whole company? It's just absolutely incredible. And I don't know, I can't imagine that AI would be able to replicate that.
Yeah, all the conversations around AI, the thing that I like to just really take a stab at is it's that human connection that will center everything. And we were chatting just a second ago about what's really going to be the hook, and human connection and human conversation will be the thing that will feed and take AI to the next level, right? There's so much common knowledge, but you need that two wizards talking like this and talking about a concept and original ideas and ideation happening. You take the transcript for this conversation, and now you really have something.
Yeah, how true. And otherwise, you think about AI, it's really just the average of everything. It's kind of the most likely, the most probable, whatever. So at some point, all you're going to do is be getting the averages of the averages. So anyway, tell us a little bit about Ringmaster Conversational Marketing. What is it that your company does?
We create podcasts and community in order to connect businesses with their buyers, right? So the whole idea is that we got disconnected somehow. We put all the tech in between us and our buyers, and we don't even know what's going on anymore. And we hallucinate just as much as AI does, making up what we think our buyers need, what we think their pain points are. And you know what? Skip all the craziness. Just go out and have a conversation with someone. Podcast is a great way to do that. Community roundtables is another great way to do that. And actually find out the truth. What do they actually need? What can you solve? So that's what Ringmaster does. We solve that problem for companies.
Yeah, wow. That is so critical too, because so many times And I mean, marketers generally are usually trying to do a good job at being connected to their customers. But every once in a while, it's so easy to get disconnected and not really understand what your customers need. So it makes a lot of sense. So now you're a B2B marketer. So what are some of the most ridiculous games like that you've seen that B2B marketers do, and of course wasting a lot of
Oh
money doing
man.
it?
There's this game where and for those listening, I'm like waving my hands in the air. Hello, I'm trying to get your attention, right? The whole get your attention game. And it's not a in a good way. It's not like, hey, stop, the road's out ahead, right? This is you're going about your day and I'm trying to interrupt you from whatever focus you might have found for the moment. Let me interrupt your focus and take you over here. And it's a very much a beginning the relationship with a take, right? Is the game we start to play in the marketing side just by trying to interrupt their day, get their attention. So we could do the whole get your attention thing, and then we do the whole give me your information thing. You don't really want to, but I really want your information, so I'm gonna play these games to barter with content or whatnot to try to get your information. Why? So that sales can play another game, which is get on the call with me. I don't really want to be on the call with you. It's gotten so far to the point where get on the call with me and I'll buy you something from Patagonia. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you got me. But I'm going to check my email while I'm talking to you. Right. So all these silly games to try to get someone's attention, to get on a phone call, to listen to a thing. The problem is it's so one-sided, it's so take that when you get on those calls, they understand that and they're just they're using that time. Right. So I want to skip all that, skip all the games and just go invite someone to be on a podcast. And what's cool about it is it starts a relationship with a give. I'm not saying, let me take your time and pitch you and you're going to leave going, man, I'll never get that 30 minutes of my entire life back. Instead, let me take 30 minutes, an hour on a podcast like this, interview you, learn from you, give you a gift of my time and attention. I mean, I'm so grateful for your time and attention on this pod. And then also let me give you the gift of the platform. And I'm going to tell all of my audience all about you and they can learn from you as well. Like, what a cool gift. What a great way to start a business relationship. So I'm trying to flip the script on marketing, screw all the other things, all those other games you play, stop giving out fleece blankets, stop doing all the tricks. The Patagonia hat was nice, but I don't even remember the sales call, right? Skip all that, give some time and attention, do a podcast.
Well, I like podcasts. I do a lot of podcasts, but I think in the winter I'd rather have the Patagonia sweater or something like that. I don't know. It's funny. I have gotten a couple of offers like that, and I haven't taken any of them up. But I'm going, man, oh man, it's that desperate to get a sales call with you that they're ready to pay, whatever it is, 30, $50 or a gift card or something like that. But you're right. The podcast is a lot more interesting because you're kind of playing to their ego, because you're asking them questions about you. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily me telling you something. It's me asking, and that playing to the ego is definitely a great way to build a relationship and have a great conversation. So I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. What are you selling? I'm buying.
All
I already
right.
like you, right? So it's the idea of like, the whole Zig Ziglar quote, if people like you, they'll listen to you. And if they trust you, they'll buy from you. The podcast kind of skips to the trust part where we created some art together. We asked questions. You didn't embarrass me. You didn't ask me zingers or say, no, you're an idiot on live on a podcast, right? We created something great together. We've got we've got the trust. It's a perfect way to start a partnership or a future customer relationship, or just to find out actually what are the pain that your customers have that maybe you can solve, or maybe someone else that can solve it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just that free and open discussion to what you said is that generating a friendship, building trust, and then you can start to see if there's any kind of a match, and maybe there isn't. So and it's so funny too is that sales, especially in B2B, is so emotion driven. I mean, it's certainly in consumer, but it's also emotion driven. Yes, I need this product, but why should I buy it from you? Why should I risk my job and my reputation on buying something from you. Let me make sure that I trust you first before I take that big leap and recommend this for use in my business.
Yeah, so right, man. And so, you know what? I spent a decade plus doing marketing automation, and teaching people how to automate as much as possible, send out as many emails as possible. But man, is that a lot of effort. And then what ends up happening is I realized there's this monster I'm trying to beat up called disconnected marketing. And what it is, and a symptom of it is where your best laid campaigns start doing a little bit worse each time.
Mm.
And not your experimental ones, but your good ones, your tried and true campaigns. You're like, why are they not doing as well? Why is my organic not doing as well? Why are these things not doing as well? And those are the symptoms. The cause is you're not connected to your buyer anymore. And I actually came up with this quiz, and I am not preaching, like I am the have never done this. Like I failed this quiz, and here's the quiz. You go, okay, can you name 7 of your customers by company name, right? And you think, logos help with that. And logos come to mind, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember those guys. They were silly, and oh, those guys were amazing and totally cool. But then if I were to say, can you identify 7 of your customers by first and last name? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no, but usually there's a delta. There's a difference between your first answer and the second answer, and that tends to illustrate your disconnected marketing. You're probably disconnected, right? If you can't name 7 by first and last name, means you probably haven't chatted with them in a long time, and it's probably time to make a phone call.
Yeah, how true, how true, how true. So you talk a little bit about disconnected marketing. Tell us what that is and how that's going to kill my business.
Disconnected marketing is going to kill your business because all of your investments in marketing and sales are missing the mark. You're missing the target. You're not even aiming at the right target, right? I think back to my kids at scout camp doing the whole archery thing, and you got everybody all lined up, and somebody comes and they look at, hey, you didn't hit anything in your target. You were looking at the wrong target. You shot at the other kid's target. That other kid has a bunch of points now. You have no points because you were shooting the wrong target. Yeah, you hit the target, but the wrong one. And that's what ends up happening when you have disconnected marketing, because you might spend lots of money and have some great PPC campaigns. You might go buy a list and blast them, but it's falling on deaf ears because those are the wrong people and you're solving the wrong problem. And so for me, getting back to being connected with the customers is actually asking them what keeps them up at night. What are the challenges they're facing? What does a day in a life look like? And I need to stay current with that, because just like over time, that information gets old, right? If we try doing SEO strategies from 2001
Mm-hmm.
today, you'll probably get banned by Google. They will recognize your ill-fated attempt to mask white text on a white background for 9 pages of keyword stuffing, and they'll just block you, right? You'll get shadow banned off the whole site. You can't use old strategies in a modern situation, right? You got to stay connected with your customers. So that's my banner cry, which is just get reconnected with your customer. Have a coffee, have a phone call. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes we get shy in marketing. If we weren't so shy, we'd be in sales, right? And so a podcast can be a great way to facilitate that conversation of getting on the phone with them if you don't just want to randomly call them up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and those, I mean, there's 2 sides to marketing. Certainly, there's the understanding piece. Then to me, there's kind of like the awareness building piece. How do you separate the two when you're talking about disconnected marketing?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many steps we take out there when we bifurcate all of the different options and the different analytics, right? To understand, are these people aware of this? Are these people, captured by us? Are they a known name? Are they this? Are they that? We try to work them down the funnel. I'm blowing up the funnel, right? Soundgram, he flipped the funnel, and I'm just like, throw it out the window. Who cares? We don't even need it. You take all those contacts, and instead of throwing them down the garbage disposal to get churned up into some mush for sales, you just do one-to-one phone calls have conversations with these people, interview them on a podcast, and then do business together.
Yeah, 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 makes sense. And so, what do you, what really though fires you up about this? Are you, what gets your juices going when you're thinking about implementing a new marketing plan like this?
I had coffee with a customer, and it was actually in Atlanta. Funny enough, I and went to a Starbucks, and you know how it's some stupid, expensive coffee, and it's not even that good coffee in my opinion. And so you get a coffee, but you know what? In 5 minutes, they were able to explain to me the challenge they were facing. There's a particular situation. It's kind of B2B to C. So they were selling to businesses who were selling to consumers, and they had this weird thing they had set up. But in 5 minutes, I understood what their challenge was. And I understood also how I could help them solve that with some of the things that I was doing in my company at the time. And I just thought, man, how long have we been working together? And I hadn't quite clicked for me. And I just needed to take a moment away from our scheduled, services and solutions, just to have a human conversation to find out what's really going on here. And then from there, we were able to help them tremendously, right? So again, taking a step back from all of the marketing. Look, tech is great, but it got in the way. The barn door swung too much, and we got too focused on the tech, and we hid behind it, and we got nervous and scared. We used to be the voice of the customer in marketing, right? Then we became tech nerds that just sort of did pretty brochures for sales, and we were the print shop, and we did all these weird things online, and we got all techie, and then we lost the voice of the customer. And sales kind of took that over a little bit, but no one really tells sales what's up because they know that you're trying to sell them. But we used to have that voice. So I'm just trying to get marketing to recapture the voice of the customer and be the most informed person in the boardroom to be able to answer. This is what they're going through. This is what we got to help them with, right? Talk about getting fired up. Get fired up about actually helping your customer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and I think that that really makes sense. So now you've written a book, and you used your podcast to write that book. So tell us about that experience and how your book is doing and what your book is all about.
I took 20 years of experience in marketing automation, put it in a book, right? You still need to use these things because you're going to still need to nurture people. Marketing automation can be great at capture, nurture, automate, and then report, show some ROI. You still need that, right? So I'm not saying throw everything out and do the human connection, but I am saying start with a human connection. But once you understand the problem they're solving, well, they may not be in market right now. You just interviewed them on the pod. They may not be in market. Well, guess what? Stay in touch with them. Get them information on a regular, consistent basis that can help them do their job better. And marketing automation can be great for doing that. So I definitely encourage anyone to go out, get that book. It basically talks you through, there's 10 steps for rolling out marketing automation. One of the big things we found, just like how tech gets in the way, features get in the way. And we found that people got all goo goo gaga about certain features in marketing automation that they didn't even have the ability to use because they didn't do the groundwork early. They got sold some cool features and then couldn't actually use them because they didn't do all the homework, right? So I lay out like a roadmap for where to start, what to do next, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And there's a quick quiz at the beginning of it that helps you figure out where you're at, what your very next step is, and also how you compare with everyone else.
Yeah. So, and the title of your book is Marketing Automation Unleashed.
Yeah, that's
So,
it.
yeah,
Unleashed.
yeah,
Because the
yeah,
thing is,
fantastic.
it's all just sort of like wrapped up, and people just need to let it out of the box, right? We found that most people use 30% or less of their marketing automation platform. And if you consider that you're probably spending $1,000 a month or way more,
Yeah,
that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. So
yeah,
we're all
yeah,
about helping people actually use the tech.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and then, and how does that fit in with some of the podcasting stuff that you're doing?
I started a podcast it was a different company. I was running a company called Cheshire Impact, and I needed to do thought leadership. And I would, sometimes I take the time to write a LinkedIn post, And the problem with that is sometimes 12 people see it and sometimes 1,200 people see it. And you're never really sure why. Sometimes it's just because there was like a cool picture on the artwork and people clicked on it. But like it was like there must be something else I could do to create thought leadership for my company and teach people a better solution. So I looked around and I thought, well, what about a podcast? I've been listening to them for years. And so I launched the pod. The problem was there wasn't a ringmaster around to help us at our company. So we had to figure things out on our own. What kind of microphone should you get? Should you get an expensive one? What, how do you do a podcast? And so I just started, and I started ugly, and I started a little bit messy, but I realized very quickly it was a passion of mine. When I had a chance to sell that other company, I went all in on a podcast agency. And we've really recently expanded to community because we realized that podcasting starts the relationship off beautifully, but there's nothing quite like a community to keep those relationships going.
Yeah, yeah. So now, how do you see AI in your future and in your podcasting business? What are you using there?
So I've got some cool friends that we were taking off in the summer and they were in boarding school being all smart and wizardly and selling SaaS companies, and they're at the forefront of technology, and they're the ones actually building agents, and they're building AI, and they're building things. And these friends of mine, one in particular said, you got about 5 years. It's like Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, right? You've got 5 years of bumper crops. You can use this AI thing, you can do amazing things with it, and then things get weird. So right now what I'm doing is I'm focusing these next 5 years on human connection, right? My why as a human, as a person, and as a leader of this company is to create human connection. That's what I'm doing. And so we're creating human connection, but we're also building an audience. It's going to be so important to have a group of people that trust you as things get noisy with AI. There's so much out there. Everything's going to get agentic. Everything's going to get noisier and noisier and noisier, but in the lowest common denominator. So the best thing we can do right now is build up an audience. And I'm using human connection. I'm using podcasts and community to do that, so that when that 5 years hits, you can come to Egypt and I'll give you flour because I've been saving it up. And I've been building that audience and leveraging that to really help people, right? People can understand I'm here to help. I'm here to help them grow their business, their company now. And when things get really weird, I'll still be doing that. And they'll go, I don't know, not sure about all of these fake things, but I know Casey's real.
Yeah, how true, how true. That makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate that. As much as I'd like to keep going, I have one last question for you, and that is, what advice would you give an up-and-coming new marketer trying to enter into the marketing, the marketing ecosystem?
Yeah. The advice is, it's going to sound like a broken record. Focus on the humanity and then stay in the loop on the technology, because the tech is going to continue to evolve rapidly and you want to stay at the forefront of that. But also you need to ground yourself in the humanity, because that's going to create the best content. That's going to create the best results. And also you're going to stay centered on what actually matters, which is your customer.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. That's really interesting that you put it that way. The thing that's kind of scary to me is a lot of younger folks, like to play with the technology. They're on their phones all the time, and quite often you see them. They're on their phones. They're sitting at a table in a restaurant. And they're not even talking to each other. So they have to break that cycle, it would seem like, so that they actually start talking to people and be one-on-one with people as opposed to one-on-one with their iPhone or something like that.
Yeah, it's the one-eyed man, in the land of the blind is king. So the one person who looks up from the iPhone and the iPad in the restaurant, in the networking event, in the business meeting is going to be the one that gets the deal, gets the success, understands what's going on, gets the context for the situation. So the best thing we can do is stay grounded in humanity and then embrace the technology.
Yeah, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Casey, thank you so much. This has been really interesting, and I like your concept of, as much AI and technology is out there, it's the human connection that really makes a difference, and it's the emotions that go with that that are so important. So, where can folks reach you to find out more about you and your company?
The solution to disconnected marketing is connecting to your market. So I call it connect to market. Don't go to market, connect to market. And look, I'm just here to help. And we talked about all the games people play. No games. Shoot me an email, Casey, Casey, at ringmaster.com. Say hi, ask questions. I'm happy to give you some suggestions, what microphone to get, some simple things like that, what questions you might want to ask your customer if you actually get them on a Zoom call. Start dirty, start ugly, just get some conversations going, but shoot me a note. Happy to chat with you there. Check out the book on Amazon, Marketing Automation Unleashed. That's sort of a groundwork that you'll need behind the scenes as you go hardcore on connection. And then yeah, check out the podcast, hardcoremarketing.com.
Yeah, fantastic. Wow, there's a lot of ways to reach you. Hardcoremarketing.com, Casey at ringmaster.com. Your book, Marketing Automation Unleashed, and I think I'm forgetting one, but fantastic. And I'm sure you're also available on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whatever's easier. Even go to ringmaster.com, you can chat, right? So I am available. However I can help, I'm here.
Fantastic. Casey, thank you so much. And for the audience, please stay tuned for many other videos in this series of the backstory on marketing and AI. And if you'd like to, please go to marketingmachine.prorelevant.com and find out more about my upcoming new book, AI and Marketing Machine. Casey, thank you so much.
Thank you.